Hey friends, come explore New Zealand with us. We were there for 2 weeks, so grab a cozy drink and let's go. This is an in-depth overview of what we did to hopefully help you plan your trip. So please feel free to take what works for you and ignore what doesn't. And as always, if this was helpful, please like and subscribe. So like most people, we landed in Auckland when coming from the States. All told, we were traveling for about 24 hours when leaving Atlanta. You also cross the international date line, so be prepared to lose a day when traveling. We left Atlanta on Friday and arrived in Auckland Sunday morning. We spent a total of 4 nights there, which was perfect amount of time for us, but if you want to spend more time in the South Island, you can cut that down by a night or 2. Our first full day in Auckland, we just explored the city and we also booked a guided food tour. I love doing these because the tour guides are often locals with a lot of insight into the area, and you get to eat while you explore. On day 2, we chose to check out Rangitoto, a nearby volcanic island. It's only accessible by ferry and it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get to the island. The trails are well maintained and easy to traverse, and there's lots of caves to explore. The birds and the scenery are beautiful, and I've never seen geography like this before, so I was so happy to check it out. My only warning is that while the trails are easy, they can get steep, and the ferry only goes out there about 4 times a day, so you have to watch the clock for your return trip. But the views were really cool, and it was totally worth the climb. Anyways, enjoy this bird singing, and if you don't care about that, you can fast forward 10 seconds. On our 3rd day, we prepared for a long 2-hour drive out to Cathedral Cove. This was our first excursion out into the New Zealand countryside, and we absolutely loved it. We went in November, so the crowds aren't too bad, but it is still a bit too chilly to swim. I highly recommend this trip. It is a drive, but it is so worth it. I'll also warn you guys that drive can get a bit windy at times, as you'll see here. During the summer months, the closest parking lot is closed, so beware, you have to park outside of Hahe at a designated parking lot, but a shuttle will come and pick you up. It's very cheap, about $7 for a round trip. This is a little beach that was inside that town. It was absolutely gorgeous views. Once the shuttle drops you off, you stop for a few more photos because look at these views, and then it's about a 35-45 minute walk down to the beach itself. The day cleared up beautifully for us, even though it started out cloudy, which is the New Zealand way, and just look at these views as you walk down to this historic site. The shuttle doesn't run around sunset or sunrise, but it is my goal to come back here and have a picnic during one of those times and do a full-out photo shoot if ever possible. There are restrooms on the beach and at the top of the trail, so as long as you bring snacks and water, you're good to go. And there is also the scenic waterfall nearby. Once you soak it all in, you walk back up again about 45 minutes, you get one last look, and we had dinner with these very characteristic seagulls. And because it's New Zealand, you have more views on your way back home. Once we were done in Auckland, we made our way to Hamilton for Hobbiton. We chose the city because of its location to Hobbiton, so we only stayed for 2 nights to have 1 full day. It was only an hour or so drive from Auckland, and upon our arrival, we discovered the Hamilton Botanical Gardens. They had so many different exhibits, I guess is what you can call them, including a traditional Maori farm. What had planned on being a 20-minute stop ended up being a 3-hour stop. We even voted in the New Zealand National Rose Competition. While none of our choices won, we thoroughly enjoyed walking around barefoot in the grass, examining 75 different roses. Here's my fit check for Hobbiton day 5. It wasn't sunny as I had hoped it would be, but it didn't rain on us either, so I count that as a win. It's about an hour outside of Hamilton, and of course some more beautiful country drives. There are a few meetup spots, so make sure you pay attention to that when you book your tour. Having experienced some very touristy attractions recently, I really enjoyed this one. It felt like Hobbiton Tours was focused on immersing you in the world and having you enjoy your experience more than getting every little cent out of you that they could. It was definitely a dream coming here, and it's definitely one of those spots that I will visit multiple times. I even got to open up this Hobbit door and the resulting photo. I even tried to get one of their Airbnb rooms that they had for a limited time, and I didn't get one. But our tour guide was amazing. It was a beautiful spot, and the tour just flew by. With New Zealand's connection to the Lord of the Rings film, I highly recommend this stop. You will not regret it. And if you're on Lord of the Rings TikTok, you'll probably be familiar with pickles, so of course I had to go say hi to the green dragon cat. Finally, to add to the magic, there's this amazing rainbow. Okay, we just finished at Hobbiton, and then there's a full arch rainbow. Do you see that? Guys, if that's not a sign that we need to move here, I don't know what is. Look at how vivid that is. One more night in Hamilton and then we were on to Napier. It's about 3.5 hours from Hamilton and is on the eastern coast of the Northern Island. It's known for its pebbly beaches, Art Deco architecture, and wine. It was a beautiful town, a bit small for us, but we did spend the day exploring the aquarium and then we checked out Tamata, a beautiful mountain nearby. The aquarium was a lot of fun, very informative, and we learned a lot about the New Zealand islands. And we got to see the kiwis! We also went to a penguin feeding show, and no lie, we stood there for 15 minutes filming, waiting for this little penguin to jump in the water, and he never does. Look at him walk away. Here's an up-close image of them. They were so cute. Te Mata was about a 20-minute drive away from the city, not bad at all, and of course the views are amazing. We're in New Zealand, all the views are amazing. Just look at this. You get to see a full 360 view of nearby towns, and then on the other side is the coast. We actually saw some rain in the distance. We thoroughly enjoyed our time up here. Surprise exploration is our bread and butter. We did not know about Te Mata until that morning, so we were super excited about this discovery. There's tons of beautiful hiking here. We didn't have time and weren't prepared for that, but you can definitely come here and go all day. On our 8th full day, we grabbed another cup of espresso and headed down to Wellington. It's about a 4-hour drive, so we definitely needed our double long. Guys, I did not know how into coffee New Zealand was until we got there, but I am now addicted to espresso and I prefer that over drip coffee. Are we surprised? The drive down to Wellington was gorgeous and windy, so just kind of take a look at this, guys, but look at these mountain views. Wellington is the filming capital in New Zealand, and a lot of the Lord of the Rings locations were filmed around the city, so I specifically chose a slightly longer route that would take us by a lot of their filming locations. You can easily find a map such as this one with a quick Google search. The most convenient stop for us along our trek was Rivendell. It's been mostly converted back to the natural land, but there is this very cute map that shows you where everything was, and of course they have the famous archway as they walk out of Rivendell.
Hold on, Gandalf. Is it left or right?
Left.
After about another hour of driving, we arrive in Wellington, and you'll find these little tidbits all over the city. For our full day in Wellington, I booked us a bike tour around the city. We had never been on e-bikes before, and I thought it'd be a fun way to see as much of the city as possible. Our tour guide was amazing, and we had an absolute blast. He took us up to this sightseeing spot where we actually could see a mountain from the southern island, which is a very unusual sight to see, but our weather on that day was so clear we could see all the way across the channel. There it is. That's the mountain. That's the southern island. Also a tip for New Zealand, we did not realize the hole in the ozone layer was over New Zealand, so the sun there is very harsh and it's very easy to get a sunburn, so pack sunscreen. We did not get a chance to do the Lord of the Rings studio tours in Wellington, which I regret, but we may or may not have seen Peter Jackson driving around in his green Tesla. Who knows? After the biking tours, we did a bit more sightseeing and then ended our day with some wine and some good food. We were only in Wellington for 2 nights. Our biking tour took place on our only full day there. So on the following day, we headed to the Wellington airport where the famous Gandalf exhibit is. And of course I had to get a selfie. It was only about an hour-long plane ride down to Christchurch, which was our only destination on the southern island. We did consider taking the ferry from Wellington, but it would have been at least a 3 or 4 hour trek, plus another 5-hour or so drive from the landing spot on the South Island to Christchurch. So we decided to fly, but I regret not getting another rental car once we were in Christchurch. This was our hotel in the city. It was one of my favorites. Oh, also, we came across a filming site in Christchurch. We were there in November of 2022, so if anybody knows what movie was being filmed while we were there, please let me know. I did a trifecta booking tour in Christchurch. It was this tram, a gondola, and a punting tour. The tram was a hop-on, hop-off, so we got to see a lot of fun art exhibits, artisan shops, and those were the Queen's dog statues. The punting, you do have to make a reservation, so make sure you do that. I almost didn't. But honestly, the short little punting ride had some of the best views. And guys, look at the ducks! We took a bus out to the gondola the next day. It was about a 30-minute bus ride, so not too bad. Unfortunately, this is our last full day in the city, and it was quite rainy and cloudy. We decided to take our chances, and this was our ride up. You'll see us going into the fog here in a minute, and we did get a few little coastal views. We didn't actually get a chance to see the coast of Christchurch, which I wish we had, but maybe next time. And here comes the fog. We did stop for a snack and a cup of coffee up at the top. It was quite pretty, but you really couldn't see much. Sorry, I did that for my own amusement, but here we go back down, and you'll get a spot of a view in just a minute once we get below the cloud line. This was our last full day in New Zealand, so I wanted to make the most of it. Even though we regretted this a little bit the next morning, I booked us a dinner on one of the tram cars that you saw earlier. Here it is. It was a multi-course fine dining experience that I absolutely loved. It was really nice just being able to circle around the city while you were warm and sheltered from the rain and get one last look at it before we had to head home. And you can see here Christchurch still rebuilding from the 2011 earthquake. I really liked being able to soak it all in one last time before we had to leave at 4:30 a.m. the next morning. Our route was Christchurch to Auckland to Dallas to Atlanta. Because of the time change, November the 19th was about 36 hours long for us. By this point, we were sleep deprived, exhausted, and completely in love with New Zealand. I put details and links below. None of it is sponsored. I just wanted to help you out as much as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe if you want more content like this.